Hey, what is up? Thank you so much for clicking on this video. Essentially, what we're going to be talking about today is we are going to be discussing ways to get better at the Underground Duchy, because I've seen a lot of people misplaying them or just kind of playing them without any sort of direction. Well, I'm here to give you 4 different ways to play them a little bit more competitively, so that by the end of this video, you will have a much better grasp on the many different branching paths that you could go down as the Underground Duchy. So, starting off with the most interesting one, in my personal opinion, let's just talk about having no buildings at all. This is called the SMOL. Essentially, the whole goal is that if you don't build buildings, then you don't have to worry about ever losing your ministers. However, that does mean that you're not going to be crafting as much. You will also not be able to really recruit very quickly, and you also have terrible card draw. So, some drawbacks here. The first thing that you need to do with the SMOL is sway, sway, sway the brigadier. And the reason why you're going to want to do that is because that's going to get your action economy up real nice. You're going to want to spend all of your actions just recruiting twice, because you're going to want to get those extra moles inside of your burrow so that you can tunnel. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to sway is going to be the mayor. That way you can duplicate the brigadier ability. Therefore, you have 2 moves, 2 battles. And the last one that you're going to want to sway is the Duchess of Mud. The reason why you'll want to get the Duchess is because you will score 2 for all tunnels on the map, and seeing as you're not going to be building buildings, you're just going to be going around with your tunnels. This is the perfect way to get some extra points. The most important thing about this strategy is you're going to want to look for weak clearings around the board, making sure that you tunnel there as fast as possible and basically just ambush your opponents, taking all of those extra points. This is the SMOL. Now, on the reverse end, let's say that you don't want to be SMOL. You don't want to have no buildings. You want to have a large army real quick. Well, that is going to be the SWOL. And this is mostly a citadel heavy strategy as the Underground Duchy. Essentially, you're going to want to build up your recruiting really quickly and just have so many duchy warriors that your opponents can't deal with it. But first off, the first thing you're going to want to do is sway, sway, sway the brigadier. Nice jingle, isn't it? And then you're going to want to sway the mayor as well. So same as before. The other thing is the last lord that you're going to want to get is going to be the Earl of Stone, because you get the extra victory points per citadel on the map. Oh, did I forget to mention that you actually need to be getting those citadels on the board? Well, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to concentrate on 1 or 2 clearings with multiple building spots, and you're going to want to build all of your citadels as soon as possible. You will literally get 6 duchy warriors a turn if you get all of the citadels out. The earlier, the better, and as few clearings as possible so that it is easily defendable. This is going to be the best way. Alrighty, and the next one is going to be the money moles or MART strategy. This is going to be the market focused strategy. You're going to want to first off sway, sway, sway the brigadier. Then the next one, you're going to want to sway the banker, and then you will want to attempt to sway the Baron of Dirt, which gives you those victory points for each market you have. So your whole goal is to be drawing just a ton of cards, and then you bank them for points with that banker, and then you also use the Baron of Dirt to get that extra point income off of those markets. Now, the whole thing about the Brigadier is that they mostly help for you to be able to sway the other lords and nobles, and so that is really why you have them there. Now, the hardest thing about this strategy is that you have to work really hard to protect your buildings, because you're not going to be getting that extra unit income. So you're going to want to be very careful. Just recruit every single turn for all of your actions, and just make sure that you move them into those protected market clearings. Once again, try to keep no more than 2 clearings defended at once. So try to find those high building space amount clearings so that it's easily defendable. Now, with this strategy, it can be very easy to score a large chunk of victory points every single turn, with the banker having all those cards that you're getting from the markets, being able to just use them and score VP. Eventually, if you get the mayor, you can then use the banker's ability twice a turn and get 2 different types of suits, as well as with that Baron of Dirt giving you those 3 extra victory points. This one can jump you up and score very, very high, so you want to be careful that you don't have a target on your back. And the last and final way to play the moles is going to be the pump and dump strategy. Now there's actually a really well done video by Nebuchadnezzar, my friend and fellow root tuber, who actually made a great video breaking down the details of the pump and dump strategy and why it is so powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and have that linked below. But first, let's go ahead and sway, sway, sway the brigadier. And you're also going to want to sway the formal. The reason for the formal is that we can build twice per turn and still get a single recruit in, because you really do need to get the buildings out here. It's very important to your strategy, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to craft every single card in your hand by using all the buildings that you're going to be placing that turn. So you can build the buildings you need in order to craft what is currently in your hand at any given time. You'll also want to try to get the Baron of Dirt, because your main goal will be to be putting down markets as you go to craft these cards, and so the Baron of Dirt might help with a couple extra victory points here and there. At the end of the day, your Lords and Nobles aren't really important. You're just going for those item cards. You're going for the crafting VP, and so you're just going to be going through the deck with those markets, getting exactly what you need to craft what you want, and it works out. It's very brutal. It almost seems broken, honestly, but it is an extremely fun strategy and it can really help. However, it is highly dependent on what cards you actually draw. This strategy is actually a lot better before advanced setup. In the standard setup, this one is a bit stronger, I would say. Advanced setup has tended to make more environments where all the factions are quite a bit closer to one another, therefore the points race is a little bit harder to pull off at times. But it's still one that can work once in a while, and when it does, it seems unstoppable. I hope this video helped you learn the many different ways that you can approach playing the Underground Duchy. But that is all I have for you today, and do not forget to sway, sway, sway the brigadier.